You know, having a hobby sawmill was a lot of fun, cutting up the boards and, you know, all the harvesting of the lumber and cutting it up. But now, the real joy comes into, or when you see your finished product and you start to get it to where you want it. It's one thing to make the boards and just sell them. It's another thing to make the boards and use them, which is a great thing. So stay tuned to see how I use some 4x6s and some 2x6s in order to make a loft. So stay tuned and don't miss out.
Well, to start with, I got to figure out how to get the beams I'm putting across there up there and hold them and put them in place when I'm here by myself. So what I ended up and did, I cut 4 2x4s the same length, 2 for this side and 2 for the other side where I have the wall for support in the center, the bathroom wall. So I screw them in there, and then I'll put a 2x4 on the top. This 2x4 will actually just be a guide to support the 4x6s. I put them into place. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side, and that way I have a place to put the 2x6s. And with them all being the same size and the floor being level, that should make my loft level too. So you know, you got to do what you got to do. Once all my 4x6s were milled, and then I took them back to the sawmill and made sure they were all exactly the same height, then I had to sand them down. Now I just sanded one edge with my belt sander here to because there's only going to be one edge showing. The other edge will have the floor on top of it. This will be in the bottom, and this beam will show. So I wanted to get some sort of a decent edge on each one. And once the tops were done, I needed to do a little bit on the sides. Not all the sides are going to show, but the lower couple inches will, so I wanted to hit them with the sander also. Once sanded, the next step was actually to put them in place. Now, I only sanded the first couple there because the ones that were on the top I got first. Now the next step is to try to figure out how to get these beams up there myself. Now if you notice, I put a 2x4 as a guide, and I screwed it up along there as a secondary support. That gives me a place to put the beams and slide the beams into place. At least then it will hold it up so that I don't have to try to hold it and screw it at the same time. Now with me not being a carpenter and not used to you know, trying to get things in position, it took a little bit of a learning curve to figure out how to do this exactly. But what I would do is, you know, carry the end in, put the one end up on the bathroom wall. That's the center support, and then I would just try to pick it up. I wasn't tall enough to put it into place, so I used the ladder as a temporary support, and then I would just go ahead and use a chair as a ladder to put it into position. This loft project has taken me a long time to complete. Number one, when you mill the wood, it does take time. You want to let it dry a little bit. Trying to put up myself when it was extremely wet would have been next to impossible. So I started this project really in the wintertime, midwinter, and I just finished up here with the flooring here, and it's the middle of July. But it is done, and I also had some health issues in between too, which really considerably slowed me down getting this project completed.
Okay, now I got the beams in place. Now I'm going to attach them. Now I drove 2 angle screws up on each one. What I am doing is measuring from the side I already attached, putting them even from this front one, and I'll put them all straight from here on back. I'm already screwed to here, so I've got 2 more to do here anyhow, and then I can start with the 1x6s on the other side. Already got this one. Now my next step is to measure from this side over to here, and I actually have 11 7/8. So I go over here, this one here, I measure. What I had on the other one was 11 7/8. Quarters, 11 7/8.
Now I'm down to the last 4x6 now. Now this is the side of the cabin that still had some of the old board and batten siding on it. And we haven't decided yet, but we're leaving that on. So I'm using a multi-tool to cut out the battens so I can slide that straight up against the board itself, and then I'll attach it there. That should make a stronger attachment there. And then plus it will be flush, and I think it will look good that way. Now of course I also will have to do the top, but I did not videotape the multi-tool cutting the top of the batten. Okay, the next step is to cut the 1x6s that go over top, which will end up and be the bathroom area. I didn't actually show the placement of them. I actually put them and kind of overlapped them into the 4x6s over top the support wall to give me more strength all the way through. I didn't try to notch them in or anything. I just laid them beside it, and I think that'll work out good. Plus, like I said, it will add strength to everything. Now my next step will be to put the flooring on. Now I tried to pick these up myself and slide them on. It didn't work out so good, but stay tuned later in the video. I do get the last 2 up myself. I like to show you how I did it. A little bit of ingenuity, but this time to put the first 3 up there, Ryan helped me out a lot. They were up for the weekend, and you know, when you have visitors at camp, sometimes you can't help but put them to work. Now I've already installed the first 2 pieces. They were very easy. It's my loft up here is about 8 foot long, so they just fit up in there nice and easy. And then I screwed them down. The next piece is where I got to start cutting. Once again, I got to cut a little bit of the battens off in order for everything to fit okay and get it to slide and make it flush against that wall. I realize I may have to cut those battens one more time when I put trim up, but I'm not sure about the size of the trim I'm going to put up yet. So I guess I could have done a little bit better job of planning this out and cutting some of my trim already on the sawmill, but I have not. So I'm going to be doing that a second time. But the third piece is going to need to be cut a little bit. Once it's cut, I just got to get in position. I try to move it over the best I can. Then I might have to tap it so the 2 interlock together. Now that I have the first 3 OSBs in position, I had them screwed down just in about 4 or 5 spots just to hold them still. Now I'm going to draw some lines in order to put the rest of the screws in. So I used a chalk line. I also marked where each of the 4x6s is over at the beams, so I can find a place to start the chalk mark, and then I can see where the 4x6s are on the other side. Yeah, after that, it's just put the screws in and then run another chalk line and put more screws in. It takes me a while, but I finally do get all the screws in. And I'll tell you what, it's hot up here in this area, but we did get her done. Now it's time to get the last two pieces of OSB up, so watch how I get it done. Now the first thing I did was put a 2x4 up there. You can see it leaning. Now I screwed the top because I had trouble with them moving around a lot. So once you screw the top, then you can start getting the plywood in position in order to push it up and over. I also set this on top of a small 2x4 so I could get underneath it with my hands and pick straight up, and made sure I had a chair in place to push it the rest of the way over. Once I got the first one in the position I wanted, the second one went up and over the same way.
Another hot day. Dang that, I started about 9 o'clock today. And I'll tell you what, I've worked up a good sweat already. It's not gonna get any cooler, I don't think. But I'm almost done up here. I've got this piece. The last full-size piece I gotta cut up. I already cut with. Now I'm just cutting on the corner of it so it slides in nice. And after that, I have one more piece to go, which will take, looks like 2 cuts because it's over 8 foot. It's narrow, and hopefully I can find enough laying around here to do it. That's my plan anyhow.
Cut was a pretty tight fit, which is good. I needed just a little bit of persuasion to get it right into place, and then I also had to tap it a little bit to get it snug down against the old camp.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, that was a pretty good fit. Everything's moving along now. It's just chalking again and screwing everything down. We ended up putting a lot of screws in it, and like I said, it was kind of a warm day, so it was getting hot up in there. Now the next step will be to cut the last piece and screw it in. Yeah, I did find some pieces of the subfloor laying around. I thought I had a half a piece up here left. I did, and it matched up really good. I've already cut them. There's 2 pieces that went there because they weren't perfect. So all I have to do now is screw them down, and they'll be in place. Now, I want you to hang out here for a while. I'll give you some overviews of the whole project. And so please stay tuned for what's going to be coming up next. This is the view from underneath with the finished subfloor installed. Now along the walls with both the 4x6s and the 2x6s, I did attach them to the 2x8s that go up the wall, and I also put board support underneath them and screwed them in with 3-inch legs. This is the upper view with the loft. It's not very big, but then it's just going to be used for very small storage, and maybe for a mattress or 2, just in case grandkids want to spend a weekend. It's only about almost 6 feet high in the center.
Well, now I'm just going to clean up here a little bit, sweep it, and I'm going to store some of this plywood up here for now. So the loft, the actual flooring is done. I still have a lot more work to do in here. So make sure you stay tuned and watch some of the upcoming videos. I mean, I still have to build a staircase up here. That's probably the next job. Then I have to build the rails. I'm gonna have to put up some sort of wall here in order to put some electrical outlets and stuff in. I'm quite not sure how deep I'm gonna put it yet, but all those I'll have to design. But I'm gonna sweep this sawdust off up here and store some of this plywood I have laying around. I can always use it for shelving. But, you know, at least this job is done. It took quite a while. I mean, I had to cut, everything's cut here. I bought the subflooring, but everything else has been milled by me, as far as the 4x6s, the 2x6s, the walls, which were 2x4s and stuff. So everything has been milled by me up to this point. Here I've been cutting 2x4s here last week up in the mill. So, you know, you got to cut, let them dry a little bit, bring them down here. The green, it won't hurt too much for the walls and stuff like that. So, once again, this is the old man with the plan. I want to thank you for viewing. I do appreciate your time. And if you can, help this old man out and subscribe and share and ring that bell so you don't miss any of the other ones. And make sure you like the video so that so this channel can grow. And so once again, it's the old man with the plan, and I'll see you later.